Good morning. I'm Katrina Cole from House of Travel in Botany, Junction, and this is Kelda Cawood from House of Travel in Browns Bay. And today we're talking to you about probably our favourite type of cruising, luxury cruising. So what makes luxury or luxury luxurious? And to be honest, for different people, it's different things. So it could be that you're really into Michelin star restaurants, or you like the sweet life, or the destinations that it goes to. The itineraries can often be a little bit different, and some hidden gems. And what about the butlers? We'll talk about that as well.
That's right, Kat. Welcome, everyone. We're going to talk about what constitutes a luxury cruise. So taking your experience from incredible to extraordinary. We're also going to talk about some of the destinations that these cruise liners go to and how you can enjoy them.
Yeah, and there's new cruise lines all the time bringing products that are in that luxury bracket. I can think of Explorer with MSC. That's quite a new one too, that's been brought on, and it's going gangbusters. So, different things to different people, as we said. We are going to have a live chat, and we're going to have some fun polls that we really want you to engage with. Come on and just share your opinions. What sort of makes luxury cruising luxurious for you? So Kelda, for you, what makes luxury luxury?
I think it's the personalized service, Kat. I think, just having the staff look after you so well. You can choose your own pillow, for example. You'll come back from a shore excursion, you'll be hot and sweaty, and someone will have your favorite drink. You can also have your minibar stocked with whatever you prefer. So if you're not a wine drinker, you can have spirits stocked, or vice versa. So I think it's just those experiences that really make it unique to you. That makes it so special for me.
Yeah, actually, I've got two experiences with that. One was a client who came back from a shore excursion after a big day, got back to their cabin. 2 minutes later, there's a knock at the door, and they're like, went to the door, and it was their butler who said, would you like to have a bath? And here's the bath menu. She said, I could have just kissed her. It was just an incredible experience for them, and one that they remembered for years. And the other one, you talked about alcohol. I travelled with somebody who didn't drink wine, and she asked for gin and got a whole litre of gin. We didn't drink it all, I've got to tell you that. But, is having stuff like your butler who anticipates every single need that you have. And for those Kiwis that are saying, I think it would be awkward to have a butler, I can tell you, you want to bring them home.
Kat, I think you're absolutely right. Butlers do bring something special to your holiday. And I think it's the crew to passenger ratio on board these small vessels that really make a great experience. And you can get to know these people, their families, their home life, their experiences. I think you were talking about earlier, how Kiwis, we are very proud of where we come from, and we share our experiences with the crew. Likewise, they share their experiences. So like you say, you come away from that experience thinking they're family.
And richer for it.
Yes.
And I think you talked about the crew to passenger ratio. Passengers on board, they're smaller, and we're going to talk a little bit about that you do have travellers that are on board these ships. They know their destinations well, they're usually well travelled, and they're looking for something, not always in their later years, but just looking for something that's a little bit different. I mean, why not spend the money on yourself?
And holidays are there so that you can spoil yourself.
Absolutely.
And enjoy these unique experiences.
Yeah. So what about, your accommodation on board, from suites to staterooms? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I think that there is a suite to suit everyone. And it's, if you chat to your House of Travel consultant, they'll be able to match a cruise with the stateroom that you have. I mean, one of my favorites is an aft cabin or suite. These aft rooms, the ships are modern engineering these days, so you don't hear the noise and vibrations as much. They have floor to ceiling windows, so the light that comes in is magnificent. The bathrooms are incredible, the lounge areas, you know, you can go out onto your veranda and hide from the wind. You can enjoy coffee at sunrise and a wine at sunset. And one of my favorite experiences has been on the back of a cruise ship, and then we're cruising up the Norwegian fjord to Flum, and gee whiz, that was just spectacular. So you can enjoy your private area.
And I mean, that's like a postcard view, isn't it? You know,
Absolutely.
you wake up in the morning and there it is. You can get in-suite dining brought in, sit out there on your robe, have your first cup of coffee or tea, and just really enjoy and immerse yourself in where you are. You know, I think that's sort of, you know, quite special. One of the ships that I went on, which was Scenic Eclipse, and Silver Sea, they had their own walk-in wardrobe. It was a high maintenance chick's dream.
Home away from home.
You know, just to have those little luxuries that you get. And I guess there's some cruise lines like, you know, your Silver Seas, your Scenic Eclipse, Regent, Uniworld, that have those money can't buy experiences. And I think that that's something that is just invaluable, you know, if especially on a smaller ship, because you're not going to want to take 4,000 people to a beautiful mansion or into someone's home or a lovely winery. You just can't be doing that. Private concerts where there's only the people that you're cruising with on board, you know.
Yeah, these cruise lines really do take your shore excursions to the next level, and you feel quite immersed in the destinations that you go to. I think with the smaller ship, you do get to go into ports like Porto Venere, the smaller Cinque Terre ports, and I know that, you know, in the Caribbean you have similar smaller ports that the bigger cruise lines just can't get into. And you know that when you step right into the center of a small little village, it really is special. You don't have to be on a bus traveling from Civitavecchia for a couple of hours. You are right there.
Yeah, actually last year on Azamara, we were in a port where a larger cruise line with 4,000 people on it was tendered off, and it was 30-degree heat, and there was a queue, I'm thinking probably at least a mile long, that to get on the tenders to get them back. And we sort of were sitting on our lovely deck looking out on our balcony thinking, glad we're not in that queue. So, but you know, the private concerts and stuff like that are really special, and that's what memories are made of. You know, it's not just about the luxury, it's just about being able to have that experience.
I think one of the highlights, you know, talking ports and in-depth itineraries as well, is Budapest. Like if you've ever cruised on a river cruise into Budapest, you know that you have got to a special place.
Yeah. And at night, because it's very different at night. It's just stunning. So we've come to our first poll. And our first poll is, if you could splurge on one experience, one luxury experience, what would it be? Would it be butler service? Would it be the private shore excursions? Would it be upgrade me to the penthouse suite, or experience the Michelin-starred dining at sea? Now, Kelda, why is there not an E and all of the above? Because that's what I would want to experience.
I think they're all fantastic. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the outcome of this poll. I'm really intrigued by this one.
Yeah, it is, and it's we'll give people a minute or so just to get their answers in. Interesting that the private shore excursions and the penthouse suite, and of course then you get the butler service. I mean, that just comes naturally with it.
It does, absolutely.
And dining at sea, take your elasticated pants and things, because the food is absolutely incredible.
I think that's one of the most unutilized areas on a cruise ship, is the gym.
Yeah, very much so. I think they dust it off just like we do at home. So talking about the food aspect, we were talking about salt.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool, isn't it?
Yes.
I don't cook at home, so I just need to let everyone know. Well, I do, but I don't like cooking at home. So on board, you've got time to learn new things, whether it be painting or little experience, go to lectures, all of those sort of things. And one of them is the salt culinary experience.
I mean, days at sea are great, right? You can
They
go
are.
and lie by a pool, have a cocktail. You know, pickleball is so huge at the moment.
Yeah.
So you've even got that. Why not, you know, treat yourself to a spa treatment? The other thing is the wellness areas on these boutique cruise ships are just phenomenal. State of the art equipment. And, you know, this is why we go on holiday. So we should really be
treating ourselves. That's what it's all about. And there was a picture that just came up before, and that was a picture I took actually on Seabourn in Antarctica, where it was caviar and champagne on the front of the ship. Now, these are pinch yourself moments where you're standing in a continent that not many people have gone to, on a ship with 200 people, and bear in mind they can only take 100 onto the ice at each time. So, you know, you can't have the whole ship go onto the ice, but you get to experience caviar and champagne in this incredible experience where it's just icebergs and, you know, you can hear the carving of the ice. It's honestly mind-blowing. And I think that's what it's about. It's collecting, you know, those memories. So, Kelda, can you just explain to us what a day-to-day experience is like on board these luxury ships?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, you do have the choice to have breakfast, you know, at a dining room or in your suite, whichever you would prefer. And then most of these cruise liners do include your shore excursions, and you do have a choice of what you want to do. So you can pick what suits your activity level. And of course, you always have to come back for more food after a shore excursion because you're starving.
Without a doubt. High tea. I mean, I have high tea every day, doesn't everyone?
Absolutely. But I would definitely pick, you know, either a session by the pool or treat myself to a spa. And you do get to meet amazing people on these cruises that have traveled the world, are like-minded. So a lot of times you go away from these trips with lifelong friends. And, you know, just to get that to ship size, you've got about 100 passengers to 750. So that's not a lot of people. And so you can actually get to socialize quite a bit and do fun activities.
Golf.
Totally. All sorts
Team
of
trivia.
things.
Team trivia is really serious, very serious on board these ships. But one of the things, you know, the all-inclusiveness is that when you don't have a bar tab to worry about, it creates quite a different atmosphere because people ask, oh, it's my round, I've got to shout these other people. It's like the bar people or the waiters come across and you have whatever you want and you try things that you may not have tried. And this is Salt Kitchen, for example. I mean, I would never have tried that had I not gone on a cruise because it's just, and it was actually in New Zealand, so it was quite interesting because they did lamb and kumara, which I found really interesting to be able to do it. And then the next slide's about the mixology classes. That was probably my favourite. We made lemon drops. Never had one since. Never cooked anything from the salt menu either. But it's just a really cool experience to have.
Yeah, I must admit, one of my favorite places has been on a Silver Sea ship at the Salt Bar. There's a picture of that up on screen at the moment. And really, the choice of cocktails is just mind-blowing. And yeah, just a nice place to start your evening off.
Yeah, and those cocktails with the balloon thing on top that is Instagrammable.
Smoke bubbles, everything.
It's got the whole lot. But sort of the things I loved about around the food, apart from how exquisite it was that there was no fixed dining times. You could eat with whoever you wanted. You didn't have to eat with the same group all the time. When you were in a destination, often it was themed. So if you were in Japan, for example, you'd have a theme around Japan. There was always seafood. Like, is luxury cruising even luxury cruising without lobster? You know, so there's lots of those sort of things, and they do have a lot of specialty dining, you know, degustation meals, and private dining rooms where if you're celebrating something,
Beautiful.
it's really cool to be able to go in there, invite, 8 or 10 of your best friends that you've just met, and have something that's, quite wow and a really cool
And
experience.
nobody else on board is experiencing that.
No, it's pretty amazing. Now, the thing that we get asked about with luxury cruising a lot is, do I need to pack my ball gown and is a tux involved? And we want to demystify that a little bit, because definitely this year, I would say over any other year, it is changing. And that is due to the cruise lines really listening and honing in on what their passengers want. And you don't want to be taking a ball gown and a tux all the way across to Europe to wear for 1 or 2 nights. So, I'm not saying, I love getting dressed up for dinner. I love putting on something that, I wouldn't ordinarily wear here. But I don't feel that I have to do that. I don't feel it's got to be ball gown and tiara.
Look, I think some destinations are just super casual. So if you're doing, for example, the Norwegian fjords, it's quite an active destination.
Yes.
You're not going to pack your suit or tuxedo to go up and have a holiday in Scandinavia. But what I found is when you are on a cruise line, most of them would be able to help you out with a jacket or a tuxedo if it's really needed. There are restaurants where you have to dress up. It is a requirement for gents to wear a jacket and a tie. But if you know what cruise line you're going on, where you would like to dine, your consultant can definitely fill you in on that kind of information, just so that you're not caught behind the A game.
Yeah. And for women, I always say, black's your friend, bling it up. It doesn't take up a lot of room changing up some bling. And that's I think that's pretty cool experience as well.
Yes, absolutely.
There are more traditional ships though, like the Cunard line that has the queens, and they are of that liner era, and that's pretty special as well. And if you want to dress up and that's your gig, then definitely do it. Definitely do it.
Yeah, I think those old cruise liners that you mentioned there with Cunard, they're just really traditional. They're special, and they do offer something that's really unique.
Yeah, and they've got a place in a lot of people's hearts. So, and you need to find out a little bit about your ship and what you're wanting. And quite often you'll hear us asking you, especially if you're a first-time cruiser, what was the best hotel you stayed in or the best resort, so that we can get a feel of what you really like. And then we try and marry that up to the cruise line, because the cruise lines now, especially in the luxury space, are offering some amazing alternatives. The Kimberleys, in the last 2 or 3 years, where were the Kimberleys before? Because all of a sudden, we had luxury cruise lines going in there, and they are selling out at least a year in advance.
Yeah, you mentioned Antarctica, Galapagos,
yes,
Asia, Australia and New Zealand. If you don't want to travel far from home, the luxury cruise lines are coming to our waters, and that would be a great way to experience luxury cruising at your doorstep.
Even the fjords, sub-Antarctica, and the Mekong River. People sort of forget that there's some very cool rivers that are in the southern-ish hemisphere.
And we haven't really spoken about river cruising, but there are some super luxurious ships on the waters.
Yep.
And I know that have amazing spaces. The food is exemplary. Yep. So, not only ocean expedition, but also river.
Yeah. So Talc, Armour Waterways, Uniworld, there's some incredible experiences to have.
There is.
And also in places like Egypt, cruising's not just for the open waters. So we need to sort of think about that.
One of my favorite experiences has been on Windstar.
So that's a yacht, yeah?
Yeah, and they have like an open bridge policy. So you can go up to the bridge any time of the day and night. And I just always think it's fascinating learning a little bit more about the navigation around the world.
Yes, yeah.
So, again, an activity that you wouldn't necessarily think you can experience, but you do. So I think that's definitely definitely something to consider.
And quite a lot of the cruise lines are now having marinas off the back of their ships. I mean, this is like going on your richest friend's yacht, and there is a little bit of and we're not talking about a yacht where you're going to have to man the sails or whatever you do on yachts. It's not that sort of yacht. We're not talking about below deck. It's a lot classier than below deck, but it is definitely an option for people. And again, smaller yachts that can get in. I mean, look at this, getting into that's in the Kimberley area. That's pretty incredible to be able to sail through that region and give you some experiences. So we're going to go to another poll. So I hope you're all still hanging in with us. So what kind of luxury is calling your name? Is it classic luxury with ball gowns and bow ties? Is it the country club luxury with immersive experiences? Or is it the ultra luxury with private yachts and 6-star indulgence?
That is also a hard one. I must say, I'm probably going to fall in the country club luxury category. I'm not going to take a ball gown on holiday, but I do have friends that do that, and they thoroughly enjoy their experience.
Yeah, and I think it is a mix. I mean, country club luxury with immersive experiences is a definite front runner, and I think that too probably caters to the Kiwi nature. Like, they're not. Luxury is very different to us than it is to the Americans, for example. And I just one experience I've had with a butler is my friend actually got the butler to pack her suitcase, and when we got to our destination, it was all with paper and everything, and it was incredible. She could take a t-shirt out, flick it, and done. I was like, oh no, I can't be asking them to do that. But the Americans have them running around, after them doing stuff, because they're probably a little bit more in their league. And we don't have to, we talked briefly about, we don't have to have a luxury experience just in Europe, but Europe it's definitely got a lot of luxury experiences. So that's pretty cool that you can go into on these small luxury yachts and cruise lines. You can go right into a city, which is what we talked about before, rather than being having to either tender in or being an hour away. It's pretty cool. So
I mean, we are spoiled, aren't we? We live in such a fantastic world with
do.
so many unique experiences. I mean, as the pictures come up, you've got beach, you've got city, you've got wildlife, and these are just experiences that are just fantastic. There's a shot of the Kimberley. I think Jeff did a travel couch on the Kimberley, so if anyone's missed that, you can always go back to that. But what an amazing destination that we can now see. And
this is river. This is castle, and this is sort of castle ping pong going up and down these rivers, isn't it? It's just incredible.
And I love the way that some of the river cruise ships do have e-bikes on them.
Yes, they do.
So you can take an e-bike and you can, explore on your own. So it's not that you're always around the cruise ship and its people. You can actually get away and have some freedom. And I just think that having an e-bike on board is just like
I did it on Scenic
wonderful.
And went between Durnstein and Melk, 33 kilometres. Hadn't ridden a bike since I was a teenager. Thought it would be so easy. It's not. But going through little wineries and little towns, you just can't get that, and anywhere else.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
These are just some of our top tips. Please book early, because the luxury ships are really small. If you're talking 200 people, and Antarctica, it sells out really quickly, as does the Kimberleys. And we're finding that there's really cool destinations coming on board. We can talk to you about where your suite or stateroom, the location, if you're going down to the Antarctic and the Drakes, on your mind.
And I think Colombia's come up recently.
Yes, I saw that. I know, some really cool
something
places.
really different as well.
Yeah. Tuxes or tiaras, or none of the above, or none of those. You can do that. butler service. As we said, you will really want to bring your butler home. They're incredible, girls and boy butlers. And plan ahead for your shore excursions because they do sell out really quickly.
They do sell out, Kat. So it is important once you've actually booked and deposited your cruise, is to go and do your cruise personalizer and just lock those in so that you avoid disappointment, because we don't want that.
We don't want that. We definitely don't want that. So Kelda, what's next on your list?
So I'm going on the Viking Vespa, which
Viking's
is
gorgeous.
Yeah, which is from Istanbul to Athens. But what is definitely on my to-do list is the Explorer, which is Monaco Formula One. So every suite on board gets 2 tickets to go and attend the Formula One
And
Grand
your husband
Prix.
probably won't want to go. So hello,
Kat, you're not going to win that one.
Oh, okay, I have to do one as well.
Yeah,
it's pretty
so
cool,
you know,
isn't
it is such a unique experience. So there's lots of luxury cruise options out there. They do offer different things, and please do, you know, make contact with your House of Travel consultant so that they guide you in the right way.
Yeah, because I think it's different. There's a cruise for every person and every budget. It's just finding that sweet spot for you, and we'll talk you through that. So sounds amazing. I mean, Explorer's definitely on my list. Ritz-Carlton's on my list. I've got a few on my list that I'd like to do. Well, that brings us to the end of today. We hope you've got some insight that it's not all about tuxes and tiaras, and it is very much a cruise for different, for you, for what you want and what you want to pay. And hopefully we've demystified a little bit about the wonderful world of luxury cruising and what that entails. And please check out our website. This is Cruise Month for us, and this week is Luxury Cruise Week. So there's some incredible deals that the cruise lines have brought out. Or grab one of our cruise magazines, either from your House of Travel store, or you can actually order one online and we'll send that out to you. It's got some fascinating tips and tricks in there. We hope you've enjoyed today, and we hope to see you on board soon.
Thanks so much, Kat. It was amazing.
It's really cool.
Love chatting luxury cruising and all that it has to offer.
Yeah, we love chatting about it, but we love actually cruising on it as well.
That's better.
It's much better. So thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.